I made some tiers. There's plenty of ways to make tiers. My Twitter avatar is me drinking a Dunkin' Donuts coffee mug that I wrote SEC tiers on the side of it. So I like to consume SEC tiers, and then I like to build SEC tiers, right? I like consuming them more, but I also like building them. I can feel it in my body. Oh, it's going to be one of those days. I apologize in advance. Tier 1. This is what I did. I looked at the first 11 years of the college football playoff. How many times a team finished in the top 16? This is anticipating a world maybe where we get to a 16-team playoff. Of course, there would be a G5 team in there, so it wouldn't just be the top 16. But you're trying to create thresholds. It's like, are you good enough to be like in the conversation for what the new world may be? Right. Mm-hmm. So that's why I did top 16. And so then I created the tiers. I created 4 tiers for both the SEC and Big Ten based on how often in the 11 years of the playoff system so far did you finish in the top 16 at the end of the year. Okay. Mm-hmm. Tier 1. This is if you finished in the top 10 at least 7 of 11 years. It's the top 16, at least 7 of 11 years. 4 teams in the Big Ten. And it's the current, of course, you were in different conferences possibly before. This is about where you are right now. Ohio State made it 11 out of 11 years. Michigan, Penn State, and Oregon, 7 each. They're tier 1 for the Big Ten. Tier 1 for the SEC is Alabama, 10 of 11, Georgia, 9, Oklahoma, 8. When we think about this tier 1, what they have been, what they are, how do we feel about this? Who has a better tier 1 in the history of the playoff when you think about these consistently relevant teams?
I mean, it's hard to say that it's not the SEC, right? Like based on their history, because they have the national championships.
What show are you?
Is it not?
Well, but I guess so.
Moving forward, I think it's a different conversation. But like, tip of the cap to past success, I suppose.
Yeah, this is a difficult conversation. This is both the past and the future. Here's the one thing I'm kind of asking is, let me ask this: Ohio State has been a tier 1 team. Are they still a tier 1 team?
Yes.
Michigan has been a tier 1 team. Are they still a tier 1 team?
More than likely. Yeah, probably.
Cue NCAA discussion.
Yeah,
that only makes people mad. In 3, 2. Penn State has been a tier 1 team, which maybe people don't realize. Are they still a tier 1 team? And will they be?
Yes.
Oregon has been a tier 1 team. Will they continue to be?
Yes. Georgia
has been and will be. No doubt about that. Alabama. Where are we on Bama? You know where I am. I was yelling at Connor O'Gara that Kalen DeBoer is going to fail and go back to South Dakota State. Can you imagine? I would write you. That's your book. That's your book. I don't know where South Dakota State University is. That's where he was, right? That's where his roots are.
It's in South Dakota. Yeah.
He leaves Alabama and then goes to South. Mike, where is South? Is he South Dakota State? I thought Mike was jumping in for a second.
Yeah, sorry. It's South Dakota State is in Brookings, South Dakota.
Brookings. Okay.
Yeah. He was at Sioux Falls. No, he was at Sioux Falls.
Oh, he was in Sioux Falls? All right. I apologize to our South Dakota audience for not knowing the geography of South Dakota better. Bottom line, failed Alabama coach goes back to South Dakota and builds a monster. You writing that book or not?
I'd write that book. Yeah. I've never been to South Dakota. It'd be an excuse to go there. So that'd be nice. Yeah.
Do you think Alabama is definitively going to stay in tier 1?
No, I don't. I think we might see like one last gasp of the roster that Nick Saban gave to Kalen DeBoer this year. But long term, no. I'm not convinced that Alabama stays on this tier.
He's on Helfrich watch, right? Kalen DeBoer?
Yeah.
I think Helfrich made the national title game in his second year after taking over for Chip, and then it was for Chip Kelly at Oregon, and then it was poof. It was gone. Yeah. Helfrich watch. We'll make that a thing. Oklahoma. Remember when they were in tier 1? They in tier 1 right now?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So here's my thing about tier 1. I think you have 3 Big Ten teams that are definitively have been there and will remain there. In Ohio State, Oregon, and Penn State. And then if Michigan is not torn apart by the NCAA, we have to check. It's a similar conversation. Sharon Moore taking over for Jim Harbaugh compared to Kalen DeBoer taking over for Nick Saban. So we can't be I can't be dismissive of Alabama and be totally locked in on Michigan. But Alabama was the first or second team for the SEC. And now they're in the same place that Michigan is, when I think you have three teams sort of like more definitively locked in. So anyway, I like the tier 1 for the Big Ten right now better than I like the SEC tier 1.
Yeah, if you're factoring in future, absolutely. I feel great about Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon. Like, no question about it.
I think this conversation is going to be based on the past. How do you feel about the future? So that's, and then we'll get head to head, which is the present.